This is a review of Gleanings. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Justina. I'm so happy you clicked on this video, and I'm even happier that I read the book. Today, we're going to talk about the book Gleanings by Neal Shusterman. The first part of this video is going to be a spoiler-free section, but first follow me on Instagram. Thank you. I give this book a 9 out of 10. I just noticed that on the thumbnail it looks like a -9. But it's supposed to be a 9 out of 10. Ha 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 lol. I like the book because it is a continuation of the Scythe series. You probably read Scythe, Thunderhead and The Toll, or you wouldn't be watching this. That's why I'm going to compare the books a little. If you're not done with the first 3 books yet, don't watch this or you'll get spoiled. I like Gleanings more than Thunderhead and The Toll, because Gleanings is more about how the world with the Scythe was, unlike The Toll that was about finding out how to stop the Scythe. Also, unlike the book Thunderhead that was about the Thunderhead. I really dislike The Toll and the Thunderhead books for many reasons, but that's not what we're going to talk about. If you feel like the ending of The Toll was bad, or you want to find out more about the Scythe, Gleanings is for you. Gleanings is telling 12 stories about 12 things that happened during the time when Scythe still existed. One of the 12 stories tells the story of how the people on the moon died. I need to confess that every chapter left me speechless, in the good and bad way. This is the end of the spoiler-free section. Let's start with the first chapter. Scythe Curie had a crush on Scythe Faraday when she was his apprentice. Oh my gosh! I think that Faraday had a crush on her. How were they so cute? I feel so single now. Scythe Curie reminded me of Citra in her first year of being a Scythe. First she has a crush on someone, then she tries to find her purpose. Doesn't that remind you of someone called Citra or Scythe Anastasia? Fun fact, I had a classmate called Anastasia. What really made my jaw drop about this chapter was that Scythe Curie killed a president in her first year of being a Scythe because she didn't like what he was doing. That's why people started calling her Grande Dame of Death. Basically, she was being called Grande Dame of Death since her first year of being a Scythe. Wow. Let's move on to chapter 2. The Scythe we're going to talk about is a hot dog lover. I feel like he has a really bad attachment style. He's obsessed with dogs. Don't misunderstand me. I don't judge him. He can do what he wants. I also noticed that he has some parents' issues. I forgot what it was, but I remember him being scared of his parents or something like that. In the end, he became the dog to his own dog. He somehow even liked it. Why didn't he become a dog to a human being? That would have been so fun to read lol. A master and his dog a Scythe. I don't know what to add about this chapter. It's something different in the weird, confused sense. But I also really like this chapter, because it shows how different people can be. No, I love this chapter in a way, because we got to read about Scythe Lucifer aka Rowan Damish. I felt like I didn't know what happened to Rowan during the time he was Scythe Lucifer. But this chapter kind of showed what he did, even though he only got 3 pages to appear in this book. Let's move on to chapter 3. This chapter was sad. It starts with Halloween. What's wrong with that, you might think? The city this is playing in doesn't believe in Scythes. There were a couple of friends together at a Halloween party. A new girl went to the party. They became friends and all that stuff. The main character of this story showed that girl around the Halloween labyrinth. I think it was a labyrinth that his parents did. Unfortunately, the new girl was a Scythe. What's even more surprising is that her angel costume wasn't fake, and she had real wings. I don't remember if they kissed and she gleaned him, or she gleaned him and kissed him. Anyways, she flew his dead body out of a window and dropped him on a fire or something like that. What I'm sure of is that his body got burned. This is so sad, because his parents wondered why no ambulance drone picked him up. Because of that, they assumed he ran away. One of his friends asked the Scythe if she really gleaned him. The Scythe confirmed his death. Rip to him. I'm looking forward to talk about the next chapter. This is about the unsavory lifestyle. The unsavory lifestyle introduction is one of the only reasons why I like Thunderhead. This chapter is about an unsavory. The sister of the guy who Scythe Faraday gleaned at the beginning of Scythe became an unsavory because her brother got gleaned. Obviously, she has a grudge against Rowan because he was there when her brother got gleaned but didn't do anything. Understandable. Can we please have a minute of silence For our dear boy Rowan, who only watched her brother die because he didn't want him to die alone. Other things which I noticed in this chapter are that the best unsavories work for the Thunderhead. There are streets for unsavories to go to, and often people become unsavories when someone dies. Like the girl. What I found surprising about this chapter is that artists make copies of famous artworks for fun so that unsavories can destroy them. That makes me respect the Thunderhead even more, because it plans everything and makes everything make sense in the end. There are also different ranks for unsavories. That surprises me because I thought an unsavory is just an unsavory. Let's move on to chapter 5. My second favorite chapter. I don't think I need to explain why I love this chapter so much. It's like eating your favorite ice cream. It's good for no actual reason. Chapter 5 is about how the moon colony got destroyed. Carson Lusk wanted to move to Earth, but his parents didn't want him to move. His last hope got taken away because his parents didn't send his college application. Luckily, Xenocrates decided to visit the moon. Carson took the chance and killed his best friend. That's how he became the guide of Xenocrates. Please don't mind me, I just skipped the boring part. Xenocrates, who I thought was a good guy, wanted to destroy the moon colony. Carson, who wanted to go to Earth, but couldn't go because of his parents wanted to help him in exchange of becoming a scythe. The deal was done. After Xenocrates left the moon, Carson found a way to destroy the Thunderhead system. Carson left everyone behind. His friends, his parents, and his name. I'm sorry for him, because he had a crush on his best friend's girlfriend, also his friend. But he left them both behind and they died. When he got revived on Earth, Xenocrates greeted him. He offered him a scythe apprenticeship. Carson, oh no, he changed his name when he left the moon. I mean, Goddard accepted the apprenticeship. Basically, the first step Goddard took on Earth was as a scythe apprentice. Xenocrates had a bad feeling in his stomach, but ignored it. Guys, let me tell you this. If you have a bad feeling, it means something bad is going to happen. Xenocrates' bad feeling was right because, as we already know, he and the other 6 Highblades got assassinated by Goddard. Let's move on from this exciting, but also sad chapter to a romance chapter. This chapter is in the first 100 years, after mortality in an art school. In this art class are only 5 people. The teacher is older than most humans by then, because she lived in the age of mortality. I find it really interesting how she didn't set her age back, even though she could have done it. We all know what happened. A scythe came to the art class. The students were given their last assignment. She promised immunity for the best art project. The students freaked out but started working on their assignments. I didn't like this chapter as much as I did the last chapter, because I wasn't interested in a chapter about an art project. In the end, I liked this chapter in some way, because it was different from what I expected the first 100 years after mortality to be. There was some romance in this chapter. When they decided who gets the 1-year immunity in that museum, the guy who made an app that copied famous artists' art style won. The teacher got gleaned by the scythe. That day now is known as the last day of the age of mortality. Since that day, no art teacher as good as the one in this story existed. 2 of her lovely students, who I feel like made this chapter romantic, became a couple. The end of this interesting chapter. The next chapter is one of my favorite chapters in this book. Do you remember the ships that got sent to space to preserve humanity by the Thunderhead, with each ship having its own Thunderhead called Cirrus? If you don't, please go see a doctor. That was a joke. No, seriously, how could anyone be able to forget that? This chapter is about how some ships got destroyed. I really like this chapter, because we get to know what happened with Loriana and Joel the Scythe. They became a couple and have a child. So cute. One day a ship got destroyed by Cirrus, because it started to lose some water and air each day. After some years, there wasn't enough water and air anymore, and the people on the ship died. Loriana named her daughter after 2 people who died on that ship. This is exactly why I love Loriana and ship her and Joel so much. Because of conflicts between the people, another ship got destroyed. I don't remember clearly, but I think that a ship got destroyed because of an asteroid. In this chapter, Cirrus told some of its thoughts. It said that once its ship got almost hit by an asteroid. Luckily it didn't, but it was almost. On a normal night, while everyone was sleeping peacefully, they could have died. Cirrus couldn't tell anyone what happened, because that could make them worry over nothing. It also said that, It would want to be as powerful as the Thunderhead because the Thunderhead made rules for it. Cirrus needs to follow the rules, even though it doesn't want to. After this kind of happy but sad chapter, we're moving on to a really happy chapter. I first need to tell you that my weak point is boys' love stories. I have no idea how I'm so addicted to them, but what I know is, I'm obsessed with them. That's why this chapter is a masterpiece for me. It's sad. It's happy. It's beautiful. I almost cried. A masterpiece. Do you all remember Citra's brother? The one who told her to color her coat turquoise. That boy who we know as a relative of a main character, aka a side character, is gay. Let me tell the story first. One day Scythe Constantine comes to pick up Ben, and tells him and his parents that Citra is dead. Scythe Constantine takes on Ben as an apprentice, because he's the brother of Citra who people hope would save the Sithadom, but now is dead, or rather was dead. In this story she's dead until the last few pages. Ben becomes an apprentice. A Scythe kills both of Citra's and Ben's parents because why not? Scythe Constantine, who's smarter than expected, gives Ben a personal massager. That massager is a guy. What's the problem, you think? Scythe Constantine researched Ben's taste for guys, and found the perfect one who's now his massager. Long story short, Ben and the massager fall in love. They try to escape but they fail. Luckily Citra and Rowan are found. Scythe Constantine doesn't need Ben anymore. Ben's massager called Raj gets a new identity, because he was in contact with a Scythe, and needs to forget everything. You probably think this is a sad ending, but it's not. Scythe Constantine gives Ben a paper with a new identity. He also gives him a ticket of a tour, for a museum in a different city. Ben, whose new identity is Vasily, goes there, and meets someone who's called Milan, but looks exactly like Raj. They become friends in the first few seconds of talking to each other. In the near future, they're most likely married. Happy end. The next chapter is disappointing. Yes, because it's not gay, but also because it's really boring. There's no romance and no gay people, and also no destroying of the moon colonization. You know what I mean? I don't understand why those two Siths in this chapter, Scythe Dolly and Scythe Gordy, need to be enemies. At first, I hope that it's going to be an enemies to lovers story. But I was wrong. Scythe Dolly lives in a church. Interesting. He always tries to make special spectacular gleanings that no one will ever forget. He tried to kill the niece of Scythe Gordy, Penelope, but in the end he almost killed himself because she reminded him of his daughter. In the beginning of this chapter he tried to kill a married couple the moment they got married. Luckily or sadly Scythe Gordy killed them first, by giving them poison coffee. I feel like slowly Neil Shusterman had nothing to write about anymore. The next chapter was not as boring as the last one, but it was questionable to say the least. Lol. The Scythe in this story lives in a castle. As I said, every Scythe is different. One likes to be treated like a dog by his own dog. The other one lives in a church. Another one wanted the moon colony to be destroyed, and this one lives in a castle. Okay, until this day I can't believe that the niece of the Scythe gets killed that often. I was really unlucky as a child, but not that unlucky that I got killed by simply walking past a hotel. This is a love story between the niece of the Scythe and a random guy. I like this chapter because of the romance. As I already said, the niece walked past a hotel when a guy fell on her, or she fell on the guy. I don't remember the details, but I remember that it was an unsavory trap, and that's why one of them fell on the other. They ended up in the Revive Center where they started talking and fell in love. The aunt of the girl noticed and tried to kill the guy by putting him in a circle that can boom him. I have no idea how to explain that. It's like a catapult. The girls noticed and saved him. She decided that it's not safe for him there. That's why she wanted to move away with him. But somehow the aunt convinced her to stay. Blah blah blah. Long story short, the castle became a tourist attraction, while the Scythe kept living in it and the girl and the guy married. If they're still alive, they would probably still live together in the castle and have a child. I dislike the aunt because she's attached to her niece, and is scared to live alone. I'm unsure though if the niece moved away, or she stayed in the castle, because why would she stay? But why do I not remember that she left her aunt? This is a random fact, but the ice cream in Revival Centers is supposed to brighten the mood. That's why most people love it. The second last chapter plays in the Antarctica region. In my opinion, this chapter isn't that bad. I like that there is a region where Siths don't glean people in their actual life, but in their dreams. I like how this chapter tells us about an entire new world that we didn't know much about before. I like the fact that you can choose your dreams, because I sometimes can't sleep, and choosing my dreams would make my life easier. Imagine dreaming about dragons and stuff that doesn't exist in real life. When the Scythe was chasing the two boys, they somehow got in someone else's dream. I find it interesting that you can make your own custom-made dream. This chapter was really confusing because they got chased. And I'm really bad at imagining someone getting chased. But besides that, it was a really fun chapter to read about. Especially the fact that that guy changed the Sith's mind. To glean him is so wow. At last, but not least, the last chapter of Gleanings. Scythe Curry is in this chapter. It's not like she gets more time in this book than the main characters. Okay, it is like that. Not gonna lie, I like her. It's sad that she got revived in another body. But at least she got revived. She's one of the top 30,000 best people on Earth. The planet she got revived on is pink or purple. I'm so jealous. Surprisingly, Cirrus can speak to her and the other people. Because it's not the Thunderhead. Sadly, it takes over 100 years for the message that she got revived to reach Earth from that planet. Her new name is Susan Wildblood, and she's half a head shorter than she used to be. This is the end of this book review. I hope you liked it. My favorite chapter is the one with Ben and Raj, or now Vasily and Milan, but that's just because I love boys' love stories. My second favorite chapter is the chapter when the moon Kalani got destroyed by Garderd. I wish this book would have told us more about Citra and Rowan. But I understand that the author wanted to leave them finally alone and let them be together after 3 entire books. That's it with my opinion of Gleanings. I hope you enjoyed this video and got remembered of something from this book. If you watched until this moment, comment with a cat emoji, like this video, follow me on YouTube and Instagram, and tell me what you think about Gleanings in the comment section. Bye, I love you.